Once again, welcome to Jack Slayter Notes. Today we are going to do like, share, and subscribe first. Today we are going to do social studies and social science for Ctet examinations, but they were PYQ or SYQ, same year question, or this TYQ this year question. The exam that happened like February 7, 2026. This is the paper 2 of February 7th. 2026 examination, social studies, social science section, 60 questions, 60 mark. That already happened. This is just PYQ or TYQ, whatever. Anyway, question number 1. This is the paper 2 of February 7th, 2026. Question number 1. In about how many days does the moon move around the earth? It's a simple question. Answer is 27 days. 27 days. Question number 2. Match column A with column B. Column A is Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle in the answer. Column B, 23.5 in southern hemisphere. So if you draw the equator, you go up, that is northern, you go down, that is southern. So what's in the southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere? We go 23 degree, you get Capricorn and Cancer. So the answer is 4. Oh, sorry, 2. Answer is 2. That means Tropic of Cancer is northern hemisphere and Capricorn is southern. So if you we'll do the elaborate diagram thingy. This is just a question paper analysis. We'll do the whole elaborate diagram how you go to 23 degree up, you go Tropic of Cancer, and then 66 degree above you got but Arctic Circle, that is 66 and half degree north of the equator. And so we'll do that. This is just a question per analysis. All right, question number 3. Which one of the following is not correct about the earth? Not correct about the earth. Okay, in size the earth is the 5th largest planet. That is correct, it's 5th largest. Rotation is movement of earth around the sun. Okay, movement of earth around the sun is rotation. Wait a second. The shape of the earth is described as geode. The earth is the third nearest. Yes, earth is third nearest, but rotation is revolution, I think. Answer is yes, rotation is the movement of earth. That is the wrong one because it's called revolution. Alright, question number 4. Read the two statements carefully. Statement A. At any place, a watch can be adjusted to read 11 o'clock when the sun is at the highest point of the sky. That is when it's midday. Okay, of course, that is correct. The time shown by such watch will give the local time of that place, of course, because you don't get the time of any other place. It's both A and R are true. Both A and B are true. That is not assertion reasoning, that is the statement. Ecosystem is formed by all plant, animals and human beings. So okay, that is not basic. Ecosystem is about interrelationship between. So the answer is 2 is correct. Interrelationship between organisms and their surroundings is called ecosystem. Question number 6. Read the statement A and B carefully. Human beings interact with environment and modify it according to their need. A perfect balance is necessary between the natural and human environment. So yes, human do that. They interact with environment, modify it according to their need. They cut trees to build houses, that sort of things. A perfect balance is also necessary. So the both A and R are two, but B does not explain A. They are completely different things. Question number 7. Why is tourism a major activity in Ladakh, the cold desert of India? Visit to compass, that is true. Treks to see meadows and glaciers, of course true. Witnessing ceremonies and festivals, sure. It is a flat plain, no, this is a hilly area. So D is wrong. Where there is A, B and C, that is the correct answer. So answer is 3 is correct, A, B and C. Question number 8. Which one of the following gases is the second most plentiful gas in the air? So you got first nitrogen, then it's oxygen. So the answer is oxygen. Question number 39. Wait a second. We are supposed to do question number 9, but it's stuck at 39. Alright, nah, it's question number 9. Given below are 4 statements. High pressure is associated with glaciers, sunny skies, of course. Air pressure is not influenced by temperature, it's actually influenced by temperature. So that is not, when it says not, that is wrong. So yes, low pressure is associated with cloudy sky and weather. Okay, air always moves from higher pressure to, that is correct. So you got what? A, C, D is 2. Number 2 is the answer, A, C, D. Question number 10. Read the following statement and be carefully. Inland waterways and sea roads have been used for transport since early days. So you talk about Mahagoda and all those, Magadha Empire and all there. From that age, inland water transport is sea and waterways are going on. So when it says since earlier days, so that is correct statement. Waterways are cheapest way for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distance. That is also correct, because ships are used, Strait of Hormuz and all those things. They carry tons and tons of things, and compared to, if you do the bus and train or plane things, compared to them, they are really cheap. So both A and R are true, A and B are true. Question number 11. Many species of plants and animals have become vulnerable or endangered, as some are on the verge of extinction. Choose the reason from the following. Afforestation. Afforestation is the reason for creating or building or reproducing more of this. So that is not the correct reason for extinction. Landslide, yes. Construction activities, yes. Poaching of animals, they are the main reason for extinction. So answer, you use the elimination process and eliminate A, then you got what? B, C, D. So if you eliminate A, 1, 3 and 4 are invalid, so you got the answer B, C, D, and the answer is 2, B, C, D. Question number 12. Read the statement A and B carefully. Potential resources are those resources whose entire quantity may not be known. That is correct. Potential resources are the resources that are not well known, but they are potential. That's what's in the name. These resources are not being used at present. Yes, that is the reason that they are called potential. Yes, both A and A and B are true. Question number 13. Sericulture, you have to match the column with column A 1 and 2. Sericulture is actually commercial rearing of silkworm. So A is 4. Where there is A is 4, you got the answer for the rest of the thing. So answer is 2. Pisciculture is breeding of fish. Viticulture is cultivation of grapes, and horticulture is growing vegetable, flowers and fruits for commercial use. So your answer is answer 2. Question number 14. Which of the following is not included in the preamble of Indian Constitution? You see, liberty, justice and equality are there in the first page, but freedom is not. So the answer is freedom. Question number 15. A situation where a person does not have resource and opportunities that are available to other person is known as inequality. Here is the answer. It's a simple question. Question number 16. Which of the following are not characteristic or characteristics of democratic government? Indirect participation of people in decision making. The Prime Minister had absolute power. When says it's not. So explain and defend its action to people. When you say it's not the characteristic, so Prime Minister's absolute power is not the characteristic. So the answer is only B. Question number 17. Which of the following function does not come under the jurisdiction of municipal corporation? Making laws doesn't come under municipal corporation, but maintaining law and order comes under that. Developing parks, education, everything comes, but making law is absolutely in the hand of parliament, so that doesn't come under municipal government. Question number 18. Which of the following sequences in context of market chain is correct? Wholesale, producer, retailer, consumer, producer, retailer, wholesaler, consumer, producer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer, wholesaler, retailer, producer, consumer. So it has to be producer is the first, then wholesaler, then retailer, then consumer. So answer is 3. Producer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer. Question number 19. Read the following statement in reference to agricultural labor. Statement A. Employment guarantee programs in rural areas can decrease migration from rural to urban areas. That is correct. Migration from rural to urban is the main reason of the job. One of the main reason for rural to urban migration has been the higher income available in the urban areas. That is the reason is also correct. Assertion is also correct, but reason is correct. But says both A and B are true, and B is the reason for A. No, B is not the reason for A, because employment guarantee program in rural area can decrease. That is completely different thing, and so both statement A and B are true, but it does not B is not the region of A. It does not explain that. Question number 20. Match column A with B. Panchayat Raj system and its task. What is the task of Gram Sabha? What is the task of Gram Panchayat and Janpad Panchayat and Zilla Parishad? So Gram Sabha task is approving BPL list. Gram Panchayat jurisdiction is about maintaining water resources. Janpad Panchayat coordinated the activity of the various panchayat within its jurisdiction, and Zilla Parishad is regulate the money among Gram Panchayat. So there your answer is 4. You click 1 with 3 and here you get your answer. Wait a second. 1 A with 3 is 2, so you go to B, that is Gram Panchayat. B Gram Panchayat, maintaining water resources. Why not? Among other things, not just maintaining. Question number 21. What does double burden refers to? Pressure on men to get high salaried job and not be emotionally weak. That's the societal clash. Nothing. It's not about double burden. Women doing household chores and working outside the home too. Now that is double burden. She is doing two jobs. It's not the pressure on man. Young girls doing household chores and looking after the young siblings too. Yes, young girls doing household chores and looking after siblings too. That's just happening inside house. Double burden is doing chores in the house and working outside the house. So answer has to be 2. Yes, women doing household chores and working outside the home too, of course. Question number 22. The dash protects citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state. That is fundamental rights. Is this one? Question number 23. Which of the following acts violate Article 21 of the Constitution of India? Sanitation staff not getting minimum wage fixed by the government. Private school charging exorbitant fees from the student. A textile company contaminating the water, groundwater, which is a source of drinking water, denying hawkers to carry on their trade of pavements. And the answer is A and D and C, because sanitation staff not getting minimum wages fixed by the government, that is a government. Or private school charging exorbitant fees, it doesn't come under, because private school you are not getting forced to go to private school, you are doing with your own desire. So the answer is A and C, that are in the hands of Geo. And see, question number 24. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. If an FIR has been registered for a cognizable offence, the police can detain any relative of the accused for 24 hours. Why would they detain any relative? That is completely wrong, right? The police investigation include collecting different kinds of evidence. Well, that is correct. Statement 1 is totally false. What did the relative do, man? So A is false but B is true. Question number 25. Which of the following could be an appropriate way to counter the marginalization of Adivasis? Showcasing their culture is exploding in media? No, it's just, it turns into a bit, again, you have to appropriate way. Showcasing their culture has to be a bit niche. Appeal them to adapt into the ways of living of majority community. That's just totally wrong. Teach their history in classroom. That is the correct way. Teach their history in schools. Ask them to migrate to cities. That is literally a crime. So answer is teach their history in schools. Question number 26. Which of the following communities have been provided constitutional safeguards by enacting the Prevalent of Atrocities Act in 1989? That's scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women or minorities. Answer is scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Answer is C and D. Question number 27. The boundaries of disciplines that make up the social science needs to be open up, and a plurality of approaches may be applied to understand a given phenomenon. What is this approach called? It has to be called interdisciplinary thinking. But the answer says yes, interdisciplinary thinking. Question number 28. Which of the following is foundational logic in the drafting of syllabi of social science? Focusing on utilitarian aspects, developing more instructive textbooks. Well, developing more instructive textbooks works too, but inclusion of local perception also works. The answer is inclusion of local perception. Question number 29. The concept of a fair trial is an important one while talking about the criminal justice system. To teach this concept, you narrate to the students the story of a person who has been accused of theft and what happens thereafter at the police station and later in the court. What pedagogical approach, pedagogical resource have you used here? You used here is a case study, right? Because chart political cartoon and survey doesn't work. A case study because you are talking about a man, his whole life, his whole story. You did a case study on that, so the answer is case study. Question number 30. Which of the following should be followed by the teacher in his or classroom to promote meaningful learning? Giving easy tasks to the student, that is not the way of promoting meaningful learning. Promoting the culture and quizzing among students, alright. Giving those tasks to the students which are challenging, a bit challenging works. Giving recall based tasks to the students. Answer is giving those tasks to the children which are challenging. Yes, because that's how you grow and that's how you learn. Question number 31. Below are two statements, one of them is assertion and the other is reason. Read them clearly and choose the correct answer with the help of given option. Assertion. The study of social science helps the learner in understanding the contemporary society better. That is 100% correct. Social science education aims to provide students essential knowledge, skill, and attitude necessary for the self-development and also for becoming an effective member of the society. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Question number 32. Teaching social science is a professional activity, process of transmission of fact. Coaching memorization, that is of personal activity. Answer is to be process of transmission of facts because social science you are using facts, not hypothesis. Question number 33. Which of the following is are the most suitable teaching learning materials to explain different parts of the earth to the students? So here the answer is globe, map, and atlas. Different part of the word globe is also very useful to explain different parts, or map are also. Atlas is just map in a more elaborate way, so all three are useful. It says B and C, but actually if you want to see the different part of the, it says most suitable. So most suitable is map and atlas because you can use blackboard big map in the blackboard, but globe is small, you can just not really suitable, you have a lot of students in the class, so that's why I guess B and C. Which of the following pedagogical techniques should be used by a teacher for making social science enjoyable for students? Organizing visit to museum, show, celebration, social week, of course, encourage watching of night sky, that is also sharing large statistical data related to social facts, that's not really a pedagogical technique, so I would go with A, B and C. Let's see what's the answer. Yes, for A, B and C. Question number 35. Below are two statements, read them carefully and choose the correct answer. Statement 1. Meaningful learning in social science is a generative process of storage and retrieval of information. Not really. When you do generative process of storage and retrieval of information, well, that is also, in a way it is correct, but let's see what happens. Thinking, language, verbal science are doing things intimately intertwined. Of course, sure. Statement A is false, I'm sure, but 2 is true. Question, not just storing and retrieval, you have to use that in other parts of life. You have to give yourself morally a bit of intelligence and you understand empathy and sympathy for others, that sort of thing. Below are two statements, read them carefully and choose the correct answer with the help of given option. Statement 1. In a democratic setup, centralization of power such as Panchayati Raj has gained importance. That is not centralization of power, that is decentralization of power, correct? Statement 2. Panchayati Raj system aid to raising level of participation and involvement of people, that is correct. So let's see. Statement 1 is false but statement 2 is true. Question number 37. The Shabas in the reign of Pallava, through their subcommittees, performed various works such as irrigation, road construction, maintenance of local temples, etc. Which of the following child-centered activities can be done to acquaint the student with the nuances of their functioning? A. Description of work during description of work division on the student campus. Example of different groups created for classroom management. Getting a real tour of the Shabas. Well, You cannot get a real tour, but getting a tour to the Shobhas of the reign of Pallava through audio-visual material. So, in my opinion, A, B, D, and are correct. Answer 3, A, B, D, and are correct. Yes. Question number 38. To ensure that social science teaching moves away from an excessive emphasis on development issue to an understanding of issue related to justice and dignity, there needs to be a shift in focus from utilitarianism to egalitarianism. Say you have to go from utilitarianism to egalitarianism. Egalitarianism, that is a fun word. Egalitarian society, like the people says. 39 question. Below are two statements. One of them is assertion and the other is reason. Read them carefully and choose the correct answer with the help of given option. Assertion. An important aspect of social science is the possibility of having different shades or at times even diametrically opposite answer. That is correct. It is critically for a social science teacher to move away from the age-old habit of preaching to the pulpit. Yes, it is critical. But are they related? Yeah, no, that is the question. Both A and are correct, but they are not related. R is not the correct explanation of A. Question number 40. The use of iron in the Indian subcontinent began about 3000 years ago. What task would you give your student to develop their understanding on such historical episodes? Reviewing the book What Happened in History, written by Gordon Childe, meeting someone from traditional blacksmithing community of your area and gathering information, visiting a factory under supervision of teacher, and noting down the process of making iron or collecting information by visiting any megalithic site located in the Deccan under the supervision of a teacher. So the answer is B, C, and D. Reviewing the book What Happened in the History, develop their understanding on such history. BCD is the answer. A, reviewing the book What Happened in History by Gordon Child is not very effective. Question number 41. How will you assess the student through the project of wallpaper? Seeing the selection of the subject by the student, seeing the presentation on the subject matter by the student, asking follow-up questions after the presentation on the topic by the student, or asking follow-up question before the presentation on the topic by the student. So wait a second. Asking follow-up question before and after. Before the presentation, if you ask, that's not really good, so you have to do the after. So you go with D. You got exclude D and answer is A, B, C. Question number 42. Which of the following statement is not true about formative assessment? The main objective of such test is to make final judgment. No, wait a second. Not true. It says not true. So the answer has to be 1. Make final judgment. You cannot make final judgment based on formative assessment. So the answer is main objective of such test is to make final judgment about whether learning goes to the course. That is summative assessment, not formative. Formative assessment are they allow teacher to modify their own teaching strategies through ongoing feedback, right? When the teacher is teaching, you say something that you don't understand this way, so teacher change his pedagogical approach. They are diagnostic in nature. Yes, they are diagnostic in nature. When you ask a student about something they don't learn, you understand the level of their learning or memorizing or level that how they could receive the information better. Formative assessment are ways of teaching to frequently check student progress in course. Yes, that is the main one. Frequently check student progress. Question number 43. Which of the following is true about testing? It is not a standard for comparison. It is a ground for admission only. It is not a trial of student. It is a ground for critical examination. It is not a standard for comparison. That is true because you are not comparing student. It is a ground for critical examination. Yes, that is also true, but it is not a standard for comparison. Is it a standard of comparison for testing? Nope. But the more appropriate answer is the ground for critical examination, like it says. Question number 44. Below are two statements. Read them carefully and choose the correct answer with the help of given option. Learning is a continuous process. That is correct. Learning cannot take place after the school premises. Option what? That is totally wrong because most learning happens outside the school. So statement 1 is true. but the statement 2 is false. Question number 45. Below are two statements, one of them is assertion and the other is reason. Read them carefully and choose the correct answer. Option. Assertion. Testing as a diagnostic function to indicate the presence or absence of characteristics. Sure. Testing is an event or situation that comprises a set of questions or problems that analyze person's qualities of learning or determine his or her knowledge, abilities, or etc. Set of question, of course. Yes, A and B are true and R is the correct explanation of it. Question number 46. Below are two statements. Read them carefully and choose the correct answer with the help of given option. Statement 1. In school education, paper pencil tests are the only way of testing the learners. Not really, that is totally false. You can ask question orally and all types of assessment. You can do that test. During the testing in school, values or numbers are assigned to represent the learners as performed. That is correct. Statement A is false, but statement 2 is true. A place where documents and manuscripts are stored, and today all nation and state governments have them to keep all their old official records and transactions, is called archive. Not library, not parliament or secretariat, is called archive. Answer is archive. Alright. Which of the following statement related to Tamil region is wrong? Ubendar is a Tamil word meaning three chiefs used for heads of three ruling families. The three ruling families are Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. That is actually correct, but which one is wrong? Each of three chiefs has three center of powers. Actually, each of three has two centers of powers that comprises of 6 powers. So I think that one is wrong. Shangrampa has mentioned the Movendar may be true. Okay. Each of the three has three center of power. Not really. Each of the three has two center of power. That means each of the three comprises 6 centers of powers. Question number 49. The relationship between the state and the religion may be a bone of contention in today's Indian polity, of course, but history presents workable solution. Choose the appropriate reason and reason for the above assertion. Temples were often central of economy and society. True. Town of Ramdaspur is developed around the central of Gurudwara called Harmandir Sahib. Sufi were Muslim mystic who rejected outward religion, emphasizing community for all fellow human beings. History is about the battles between different states and religion. That is false. D is false. So the answer has to be A, B, and C because A, B, C seems correct. Question number 50. Unusual for the 12th century, Kalhana used a variety of sources. Unlike the writers of Prashastis, he was often critical about rulers and their practices. His sources include, because Kalhana was not really bound by most of the Prashasti writers are under the king, and whoever they were under, they have to praise him like a god. If you see the Samudragupta once, then there's a Banabhatta and all those Harshavardhan's writers and everything, they they wrote them like a king. So that's what the thing is. But Kalhana was not really bound by any of, that's why he criticized everybody. Well, his Prashastis was about Kashmir king and many things. Earlier histories and eyewitness accounts. Earlier histories, eyewitness accounts and documents. Earlier history, eyewitness documents and inscriptions. That is the correct answer because there is all these things. He get his sources from earlier histories, eyewitness accounts, documents, and inscriptions. Everything. The answer is earlier histories, witness accounts, documents, and inscription. Question number 51. Which of the following are true with regard to the Marathas? Shivaji carved out a stable kingdom with the support of powerful warrior families. Powerful warrior families were called Deshmukhs. Highly mobile peasant and pastoralists were the backbone of the Maratha army. Highly mobile peasant and pastoralists were called Kunbis. Answer is A, B, C, and D. And yes, all are correct because Shivaji did carve out a kingdom with the support of the powerful warrior families, and those families were called Deshmukhs, like Ritesh Deshmukh. And high mobile peasant pastoral the backbone of Maratha Empire, yes, and those are called Kunvis. Question number 52. Historical claim the Ahom built a large state. Choose the appropriate evidence of the Ahom claim. The Ahom used firearms to build a large state. Now here's the question. Where did they learn to use the firearms or gunpowder? The Chutias. We will do the Assam and its people history section. I already make the questions for mythological period, ancient period, medieval period. Just modern left, and we will have like 50 or 60 videos, I think. But we're just waiting for GT or PGT to announce, then we will release them. But now that Ctet announces, so we are dealing with that Ctet situation. Ahom made high quality gunpowder and cannon. Yes, like I talked about gunpowder from Chutias. Ahom learned them from the Chutia Empire. The Ahom state defended upon forced labors. Yes, in 1662 the Ahoms defeated the Mughals. Wait a second. Like I mentioned, Chutias won not two times. If anyone really watching this from outside, Assam Chutia is a kingdom. You go to Google, you search Chutiya kingdom. You will understand what I am talking about. So, Ahom learns gunpowder use and cannon use and firearms use from the Chutia kingdom and their empire. So that's what I am talking about. Here the answer is A, B and C, not the D, because in 1662 not the Ahom defeated the Mughal defeated the Ahoms, but in the later years in 1669 or something, Ahom defeated Mughals again. Question number 53. State the validity of the following on the peasant revolt. So, assertion: those who were oppressed do not always rise up in the rebellion, they do so only at times. In 1859, the Indigo riot felt that they had support of the local zamindars against the planters. Conclusion: women turn up to the fight with plots, pen and kitchen. I think all are valid here. Assertion, decision, conclusion, all are valid, yes. Question number 54. The following are some facts related to company policies during second half of the 18th century. Artisans started deserting village. The company purchased goods in India by gold and silver. The revenue collected in Bengal could finance the purchase of goods. The company became Diwan. Arrange the following in sequential occurrence. So when you say sequential occurrence, B, D, C, A, alright. So B is the first happened. The company purchased goods in India by gold and silver, right? Then happens was the company become the Diwan. Then the revenue collected in Bengal could finance the purchase of goods, and then artisans started deserting villages. So the answer is 4. Question number 55. Which of the following institutional developments was or a direct outcome or outcomes of the Woods Dispatch? Educational departments of the governments were set up in provinces. Centralization of education under the governor general took place. Steps were taken to establish a system of university education. Indian Civil Service College were set up in the mainland. I think two of above are choose the correct option. Yes, two of the above are correct. Question number 56. Who amongst the following argued that before Aryan rule there existed a golden age where warrior presented tilled the land and ruled the Maratha countryside in just and fair ways? I think whom argued is Jyotirao Phule. Answer is Jyotirao Phule. Question number 57. Consider the following statement on non-Brahmin movement. The movement came from non-Brahman caste that had acquired access to the education. The movement argued that the Aryans were the indigenous races. The movement came from non-Brahman caste with the wealth and influences. Choose the correct options. Which one is correct? Answer is only A and C are valid because the movement argued that the Aryans are the indigenous race. Now, Aryan never were the indigenous races. If you see, Aryan actually migrated in the Veda's time, that is 3250. In the Veda era, age of Veda, they migrated from some say Arctic, some say Afghanistan, side of Afghanistan, and that sort of thing. So, they were never indigenous. Non-Brahmin movement. Only and C are valid. Yes. So they never really argued that. That's why this is not here. Question number 58. Social insecurities in any society results from a sense of alienation in this context. Wait a second. The social insecurities in society result from a sense of alienation. That is true. In this context, the Indian nationalist movement was a movement to acknowledge the supremacy of people over the struggle of government, to do away the difference of class, color, and language, to acknowledge the government as being equal to God. You cannot really do that. To acknowledge the government is equal to God. So the answer 1 and 2 is the correct options. Question number 59. It is established in Madras, Chennai in 1864. It worked to abolish caste distinction. I think it's talking about Veda Samas, but well, let's read the question. It worked to abolish caste distinction and promote widow remarriage and women's education. It condemned the superstition and ritual of Orthodox Hinduism. Identify the associated movement. It's of course Veda Samaj. Yes. Question number 60. After the attainment of independence, why did the demand for linguistic states intensify? In the 1920s, the Indian National Congress had promised that after independence, each major linguistic group would have their own province, and after a lot of fight, they did in Andhra Pradesh and south side of India. After independence, the Congress did not take any steps to honor its promise. Major linguistic groups having its own promise, and they honor it after a bit of protest and everything. The Kannada Telugu speaker had looked forward to having their own state. The strongest protest came from Tamil speaker, yes, of the Telugu speaking district. All right, that is true. Nehru and Patel were against the creation of linguistic states. Yes, they were actually against that because they wanted to be unity in diversity sort of thing. So answer here, the option says B C D A B S C D and ABC, but it is wrong. The answer to all the options is correct. That was that is all A B C D, all of them are correct, because in 1920 Indian National Congress had promised that after independence each major linguistic group would have its own province, like Tamil have got their one, Telugu got their one, Malayalam got their one, Kannada got their one, Assamese got their one, but Bodo got their one. So that sort of things. But uh, it says major, not minor. It's small. There are many. In Assam, there are like 50 of those, I think, different language speaking. So it says major. But after independence, the Congress did not take any steps to honor its promise of major linguistic groups having its own province. They did not honor that. The Kannada Telugu speaker had looked forward to having their own state. The strongest protest came from Tamil speaker of the Telugu speaking district. There was just one district where Tamil speaker speak that does not exist with Telugu because their language they think are superior to anything, so that they want their own state. Now it's good for them because today's Telugu Tamil, they were the richest state in India. The rest were just fighting for meat. Nehru and Patel were against the creation of linguistics. That is to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Nehru were against that, creation of linguistic states. So all of them are correct. Anyway, so before we go, we did a 60 question, I think, right? Yes, we did 60 question because it was the what paper? February 7th, I think, right? February 7th morning, paper 2 of exam of morning. Yes, paper 2 happened in the morning, I think. Yes, so paper 2 of social studies, social science, 60 questions, 60 mark, that is social studies. We did paper 2 February 7th, so that left us with February 8th and March 1st re-exam papers. We are going to do 2 more paper, and then we are done with the PYQ, or as I call it SYQ, same year question, not previous, or TYQ, this year question, just joking things. Anyway, so we did that, and anyway, we will do more question and answer differ from this, and we will some more thing that we just answer the question and not elaborate any question or answer or do that. But this is just we are solving the paper for just a warm up session. We will do more elaborate and explanation and more of those in the coming, as our channel says it's about notes, but we will do more than just notes. We will do practical things and elaborate things. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. check Slayter notes, study hard and work smart, and we'll grow together. Support us and everything. And study hard, as there are vast time between September 6th and 7th or 8th, 7th or 8th. Anyway, have a good day. Goodbye. Have a nice day.